Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. How are you?
We'll wait for folks to join up. We have a busy day today, Laura.
You have a busy day?
Well, I feel like this is going to be a busy class. It's going to be.
Yes.
Are you going to join me, Maxwell?
That's true.
Maybe not. Maxwell may join me. He's not sure. Maxwell has explored outside lately and found a lightning bug.
Ooh.
And 2 worms, but the lightning bug just flew away, and that was a little bit sad.
Oh, yeah, that's disappointing. But you know what? It's happier, Maxwell. They like to be free.
Yeah, and I think that the lightning bug's going to come back also. Because Maxwell was taking such good care of it. He made him a little place to walk around in the dirt.
Aww.
I feel like he's going to really want to come back, don't you think?
Yeah, he'll come visit you. Maybe later today when it starts to get dark, they come back to visit.
Yeah, that's what I think. All right. I'm going to check on comments here. It looks like we may have some folks here. Good morning, Aunt Liz. How are you? It's nice to see you also. We'll get started in a moment. We're going to be making popcorn, and Cora, Cami, and Matt are here. Excellent. Nice to see you guys. We're going to make popcorn. So I'm curious what everybody's favorite way to make popcorn is, whether you have a popcorn popper at home, whether you make it on the stove top, in the microwave. I'm going to be making it in a microwave, but I have the kernels just like this, and I'm just going to put them in a paper bag, fold it, and cook them in the microwave. That's my sort of go-to.
Oh, I've never tried that. Well, personally, I had always just made microwave popcorn, in the package that you buy at the store. And then when I was living in New York City, I lived in this tiny, tiny apartment with a friend of mine from college, and we didn't have room in our kitchen for a microwave, so we just didn't have one. And she taught me how to make popcorn on the stovetop, and it was so easy and fun that's been my way ever since. And I always think of her every time I make it.
Yeah. All right. I love that. So I think we'll get started popping. So why don't you start demonstrating that? I'm just going to show quickly how to do, she says, the popcorn balls for Halloween. Yes. Aunt Liz was saying a comment that she remembers somebody in their neighborhood making these for Halloween. That sounds really fun. So to make it in the microwave real quick, I'm just going to pour popcorn kernels to fill the bottom of a paper bag, just like this. Just enough to kind of cover the bottom of the bag. I'm going to fold it up, and I'm going to put it in the microwave. Mine is just the timer for the popcorn setting, so I'm going to do that real quick, and then Laura, why don't you describe how to do it on the stovetop?
Okay. So these are Lisa Whitaker's instructions, everybody. This is how I've always done it. This is how she taught me. So you put a saucepan on medium-high heat. So I turn it to 6 or 7 on the dial on my stove. And then I fill the bottom of the saucepan with just enough. I'm using olive oil, but you can use any cooking oil, just so that it's coated. This is probably even a little bit more than I need. And you're going to let that get hot. And it takes about, I would say, 4 minutes or so to get up to temperature. And you know that it's hot enough when you drop one kernel in and you instantly start to see some bubbles forming. So I'm going to let that heat up. And then for the toilet flushing can never be a good sign. And then for the corn, I have just regular corn kernels, and I measure out 3 ounces typically, and that's enough to fill this saucepan.
Okay, so Laura, while you, I think you may need to go. That's totally fine.
So I use a shot glass, which is 1 ounce, and I fill it 3 times. And then when the oil is hot enough, I pour that into the bottom of the pan. And that is usually enough popcorn to fill this pan without overflowing.
Perfect. And so I have popcorn going in my microwave. I just put it to the popcorn setting. I poured popcorn kernels into a paper lunch bag just to cover the bottom of the bag, and then folded it and laid it on its side and put it into the microwave. So my popcorn's going that way, and Laura's getting going with her popcorn on the stovetop. And so what we need right now, we need about, Laura, for the popcorn, I think it was 6 cups of popcorn, right?
That's right. Yep. And so my estimate, I think, is that I should get probably 8 cups from the 3 ounces of kernels. So you could even dial it back.
Okay. So I'm going to get started on the measuring of the stuff for the caramel. Because my popcorn's getting going. I may do 2 batches of popcorn. If it doesn't make enough, I'll see. Also, my kids are going to snack on it as soon as it comes out of the microwave, so I think I should get it going. Marin says they use, or I should say Matt and Cora and Cami use an air popper. I love using an air popper. I don't have one at home, but those are super fun. So we're going to start getting our ingredients measured. I made a couple of banners today to get us started. So I'm going to start the first one. So the first thing we're going to do is combine, sorry, that should say 3/4 of a cup of honey. So 3/4 of a cup of honey. I may be able to edit that quickly. Let me just see something quick. 3/4 of a cup of honey, just so we have it for later if anybody's watching. Save that. And oops, I'm going to edit one more thing because it says 1 cup of sugar. Let's change that to sugar. And I'm going to show that. There we go. So 3/4 of a cup of honey, a cup of sugar, a tablespoon of molasses, a 1/2 cup of water and salt. So we're going to combine all of that into a pot, excuse me. And I've got my popcorn, my first bag of popcorn ready to go. So I'm going to have to do another batch. So also made a lot of kernels, so I probably should have cooked it a little bit more. But there's my first bag of popcorn. And I'm going to put another batch in just to make sure I have enough.
Okay. And I heard a tip once that if you store your corn kernels in the refrigerator, that you have fewer unpopped kernels.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, something to do with the oil inside of the kernel. Not exactly sure why, but.
I may have poured a few too many in the first time so that it didn't pop properly. So I'm going to get the next batch going, make sure I have enough popcorn, and then I'll start mixing all my ingredients together.
And so one sort of silver lining of this situation that we're in, where I'm avoiding going to the market unless I have to, is that it's getting me to use up stuff in my pantry. So I've had this bag of coconut sugar for quite some time, and it usually, I go for the white sugar first in most recipes, but since I have this, I'm going to try it in this recipe.
All right, so I'm going to get my honey going. So it's a 3/4 cup of honey, and my honey was pretty solid. So I put it in the microwave for just a little bit this morning, and it's very liquidy now.
All right, and Jen, I'm also going to pour my kernels in. And if you're doing this on the stove top, then following along. So I'm going to pour them in the pan, give it a shake so that all the kernels get kind of coated in oil. And then I'm going to put the top on because they will start to pop and you don't want them flying all over your kitchen.
Okay, so this honey's also a little bit thick, so I'm going to actually, maybe I can grab some out. I might put this in the microwave as well. You just put it in for about 20 seconds. It'll get it nice and liquidy and much easier to pour. Okay. So I think we have maybe some comments or questions. So salt, good question. You're going to add a teaspoon of salt to this. Hold on, we're going to add, let me just make sure I have that right. Yes, I'm sorry, 1 teaspoon of salt. I'll change that as well. And the water is a 1/2 cup of water. Apologies on that.
Right, so I'm starting to make this sauce as well.
Let me go ahead and make that change on the banner. Thanks for the question. I'm going to make an edit there. It's the water, I think I just said was a 1/2 cup of water. So 1/2 cup of water and 1 teaspoon of salt.
So this is not all that different from the caramel that we made last week. Somewhat similar concept where you're melting the sugar down, getting it nice and hot, adding butter, making this like caramel sauce that we're going to pour over the popcorn.
Right. And so I'm going to go ahead. I think I can get enough out by just scooping it. My 3/4 of a cup. I don't think I'll have to microwave this one. I think I'm just about at 3/4 cup of the honey. And then we're gonna add the cup of sugar. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna get that in here. And Laura, how's your popcorn coming?
So it started to pop. I don't know if you can hear it.
Well, I've got 2 bags of popcorn done now. I should have enough, I think.
If you start to hear the popcorn popping, I usually just like hold on to the top to make sure that it doesn't slide off, and then like shake it just a bit. And then you'll hear the popcorn start going more and more.
Mm-hmm.
We just keep that process up until the popcorn stops popping, or it slows down enough that you think it's mostly done.
Perfect.
So I'm gonna let that go.
Okay, so here's bag number 2 of popcorn. See how this one is. This is a little bit better. I got more popcorn out of this one. It should be good. I may make a little bit more because, again, my kids love popcorn and they are just going to devour it. So I'm just going to make one more batch. So here's the test, Laura. I guess the answer, if you want quick popcorn, the microwave's going to do it a little faster.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
But we have lots of time on our hands these days, so that's okay.
And especially if you do it on the stovetop with a clear lid, like some frying pans have, that's kind of fun because you can actually see them popping inside.
Sure. I have a little sugar spill here, so I'm going to clean that up quick. Okay, so it was 3/4 cup of honey, a cup of sugar, a tablespoon of molasses.
Yes. And then the teaspoon of salt as well.
And then a teaspoon of salt, and we add the water.
Yes.
Okay. A lot of gooey things going on today.
And then you're going to put that on low heat.
Okay.
Or, yeah, I think the recipe said low heat until boiling. So that could take a few minutes. So I have mine on like a 3 on my stove.
Okay, adding my water as well. Okay. So I've got my pot with everything ready to go, and I'm going to put mine on the stove, and we're going to put that on a low heat. And we're going to be cooking that until it gets to a boil. And when it gets to a boil, we're going to add butter. So I will put this next banner on. Oh, you've got popcorn. I love it. So the next step is that when it comes to a boil, you're going to add butter. And we're going to be adding 1/4 cup of butter. So let me make one more edit on this.
So you can have those ingredients standing by so that when it comes to a boil, you're ready to add those in.
Yeah, and it's 4 tablespoons or a 1/4 cup.
Right, half a stick of butter. And then you're also going to add a teaspoon of vanilla after the butter melts. So
yeah, so
ready.
For those of you who have taken classes with us before, we always talk about mise en place, which is having everything in place or ready. Mise en place in French means put in place. And so if you can have your butter and your vanilla ready to go, and that's going to be 1 teaspoon of vanilla, then when your mixture comes to a boil, you're good to go on adding that in. So I'm going to go ahead and add my vanilla. It was 1 teaspoon of vanilla to a little bowl. So I have that ready to go, and I have my butter ready to go.
And then the other thing that you can prep is a bowl of iced water, because we said in the prep that if you have a candy thermometer, you can use that because we're gonna try to get this sauce up to the right temperature to form like a caramel consistency. A candy thermometer makes it pretty simple because you're looking for it to get to 248 degrees. That's what they call the soft ball. If you don't have a candy thermometer, and I realized this morning that mine is broken, you can use ice water and test the sauce by dropping a little drizzle of it into the ice water, letting it cool for just a second or two, and then getting your hands in there and seeing if you can form a ball with that cooled sauce. And if it forms a pliable ball, so like the texture of wax, like soft candle wax, then you're at the soft ball stage. If it doesn't form a ball, it's not hot enough yet. Just a minute. It's not hot enough yet, and so you need to let it keep getting hotter. If you let it get too hot, then when you put it in the ice water, it will form like a hard candy, like a brittle hard candy that would crack.
Yeah, we're good, Laura. So yeah, so 248 degrees on the candy thermometer, or what's called like a softball stage. It's going to be super hot, so you don't want to touch it with your fingers without putting it in the ice water. But if you drop it a little bit in the ice water, like Laura said, it'll get cold. And if you can make it into a sort of a pliable ball, it's ready to go. And here's the thing. If it's not ready to go, if you undercooked it, it's just going to be that it's not going to be stuck together as well in a ball. It's still going to be delicious. It's still going to be caramel corn. It's just not going to be forming those balls. So there's not like a real heavy science to this, but I'm looking at my mixture and it's just starting to come to a boil. I'm going to see if I can show you here. It's just starting to come to a boil around the edges. So it's almost there. So I'm going to get ready to add my butter. Laura's got her popcorn ready. I've got my popcorn ready. So that was the microwave version.
So this is all the popcorn I had left in the house. So I, like you decided to just make it all. And I'm putting it in a bowl with some peanuts. The recipe said you could use peanuts or pecans. I'm sure you could leave them out or add different kinds of nuts that you might have, just to kind of add another flavor and texture to the popcorn ball.
Right. I'm going to skip the nuts on mine, but yeah, you could definitely add nuts. I bet you could also add some chocolate chips if you wanted to. They might get a little melty when you add your caramel, but that would be really good. Or some seeds. So mine is just about coming to a boil. And so as a reminder, when your mixture comes to a boil, you're going to add 1/4 cup of butter or 4 tablespoons or half a stick. And I think we're just about ready to do that. So I'm going to just show you one more time. I'm going to wait a moment.
You can use this.
Getting close.
This one can break. You can't.
The next step, if anybody's ready for the next step, is after you've added your butter, when the mixture becomes thick and foamy, you can add your vanilla. And then we just kind of keep stirring it until it's ready to go. So I think I'm going to cut my butter up into smaller pieces. You have to, but it'll just melt a little bit faster. I'm going to go ahead and do that and add that. Mine is boiling. So I'm going to add my butter. I'm going to bring it over here so we can see.
Mommy, I want more water.
Okay, I still can't quite figure this out. There we go. Okay. So mine is starting to boil. I'm going to go ahead and mix my butter in. And you do want to stir it pretty frequently. You don't want it to burn. You don't want it to boil over. But we'll probably, Laura, how long do you think it's going to take to get to this sort of ready stage?
You know, I'm really not sure. We made these back in December for the first time. So my memory is foggy. And the recipe didn't say, but I'm going to guess like about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Or I would start testing it after 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, mine got nice and the color really changed.
Oh, okay.
It looks real like caramelly.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. And it's actually quickly getting sort of foamy. It's sort of getting this foam on the top.
Okay.
I'm going to lower my heat a little bit because it's starting to boil up. And I don't want it to come over. So I'm going to take it off for just a second.
Yeah, that would be a project to clean up.
Yeah, I don't feel like taking that project on. I feel like I'm doing enough dishes these days and I'm cleaning my stove enough that I want to clean up caramel.
One other thing you can do while you're waiting is to prep your muffin tin. So this is just a method for forming the popcorn ball. So if you have a muffin tin like this, you can spray it with cooking spray, wet like a paper towel with some oil and just wipe it inside each cup so that they're greased, which will make it easier to get the popcorn ball out.
Yeah, I think I have the, I finally found my spray oil, my cooking spray. So I'm just going to go ahead and spray my tin with this.
And then another method, for whatever reason, if you don't have a muffin tin, you could also just cut squares of wax paper, the caramel popcorn mixture, and then wrap it in the wax paper or the parchment paper and kind of squish it with your hands. Actually, I should say parchment will be easier. Wax paper sometimes, parchment will not.
Yeah.
And so if you want to do it that way, you can just form it with your hands.
That makes sense. And I also, when we did it in class, we did use our hands to form it. We just waited a long time until it was cool enough. And
Right.
then the tip for that is when you do form it with your hands, it's a lot like if you ever make Rice Krispie treats. If you spray your hands with the spray, just put a little spray on each hand, you're going to have a little bit of an easier time. It's not going to get all sticky. That was something we worked on. So my mom and her sisters are having a little bit of a conversation about whether it was Alice or Lucille who used to make the popcorn balls for Halloween in their neighborhood. So there you go. Aunt Liz, that's the answer. It's either Alice or Lucille.
Right, and nobody does that anymore. We made them at Christmas time because we were sort of researching like different things like popcorn garland, and my father-in-law mentioned that he loves popcorn balls, so we made some of them around Christmas to give as a gift for him.
I love it. So my mixture's not thick yet. It's foamy, but it's not real thickened. So I'm gonna let it go a little bit. And I thought I could show a little craft that actually Maxwell's grandma showed us with marbles, but we're gonna actually do it with popcorn. You wanna show the final product, Maxwell?
I made this.
Maxwell made this today. And this was the one I made this morning. And we're going to show you how to do it while our mixture is cooking. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a few popcorn kernels and put them into let's say you have a jar. Like you could certainly use like a mason jar. You could use a pint cup.
Mama, you remember I do it?
Yeah, you can do it. But you don't need too many. And so that's the first step. You could definitely use...
Mom, get paper.
I'm going to get it. You could definitely use something like this if you wanted to, but you're going to put popcorn kernels in first. And I'm just going to come back to stir because, again, we don't want to leave our mixture unstirred because it will overboil or could burn. So you want to really be watching it. Mine is getting foamy and starting to thicken. How's yours, Laura?
So mine hasn't come to a boil yet, so I'm turning up the heat because I had originally had it on low heat, which is what the recipe said, but I think that might just take a really long time.
Yeah, and that may also have been on a a gas burner too.
Yes, that's a good point. So yeah, it's getting close to boiling, but it's not quite there yet.
Okay.
I'm going to attempt to join you for the craft. My assistant really loves to play with paint, so maybe I can entice her to do it.
Yeah, you do that. We're good here. So I'm going to just post one more note, just in case anybody else wants to join in on the family question of who made the popcorn balls. It might have been Aunt Ruth. She thinks Aunt Lucille did the caramel apples.
Mommy.
So there's the answer to that. But maybe it was Alice.
How did it fall?
All right, Margo, I'm going to put a little
Okay.
Popcorn fall from the sky.
your job.
All right. So now we can see mine is now, the bubbles are getting bigger and a little bit thicker. So I'm going to go ahead and add my vanilla now.
Pink.
Here we go.
I'm going to let you.
Pink.
Yes, I'm going to put this in, and then you can shake it. Okay.
No.
So I added the vanilla and I can smell it. That molasses smell is really kind of coming together. So now we're going to keep on stirring it. And Max is going to show us how to do the craft. So Maxwell. Yeah, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our paper to fit inside the jar. Can you bring me that jar here so I can? So we want it to be as high as the jar. Okay, so that's about this high here. So that when you put it into the jar, you're going to kind of turn it around like this and put it right in the jar. Yeah, I'm going to show
Can
you.
we add little pinks?
Yeah, and I got a new color paint for you, Max. I brought yellow. So you're going to kind of put the paper in so it goes all the way around your jar and that your popcorn kernels are right in the middle of it.
And then we could maybe do. Wait. And then we could maybe do a little bit of paint.
Yeah, come on over here, Maxwell, so you can show. Why don't you come around and come this way, and then we can show. Oh, and here, in case anybody's following along, Aunt Helene says she thinks it was Aunt Ruth.
Then we could make
Aunt Ruth maybe made the popcorn balls.
And then we could,
So we think it's Aunt Ruth who made the popcorn balls and Aunt Lucille who did the apples, which makes me wonder what Alice made. So we'll need an answer to that. Okay, so Maxwell's going to show the next thing.
so we could maybe add a little bit
Paint.
of paint.
So I've got yellow and blue. So you're just going to add like a couple of drops of paint, not too much, because otherwise it kind of gets all over. So we're just going to do, how many drops of blue do you want to do?
Like
Maxwell?
2.
2 drops of blue. Okay, there's
No.
1, 2, and then
And now
how much yellow?
1.
1 drop of yellow. Whoops, we got to shake that up a little bit. Hold on. And this is just this is acrylic paint, but you could use whatever paint you have.
And then we put
And we put the lid on.
and we put the lid on.
Okay.
And then we could shake it.
Let me see, Maxwell, shake it up.
And then we could shake it.
All right, should we take it out and see what it looks like? Oh, wow, Maxwell, this one's really cool. Hold on, let me take it from here so it's not. You want to see it?
Yeah.
This is beautiful. Here's Maxwell's shaken art. So super fun, easy craft. You could do this with dried beans. You could do this with marbles, which
Mom,
is
do
how
you like it?
Grandma Helene showed us.
Mom, do you like it?
I love this one. It almost looks like a heart to me in the middle. And then you can actually either just have these done, or you can go ahead and write something in the middle or decorate it in some way. The one that I made this morning looked to me like this kind of, I don't know, like a cool starry sky or something that we could make.
And this one I made that this morning.
Maxwell made this one, which I thought looked like a tree.
No, mine.
But
No,
Maxwell,
it's a snowstorm.
but it's actually a snowstorm.
No, it's a snow tornado.
I mean, a snow tornado. So this one is actually a snow tornado. Okay, if anybody's following along, Aunt Alice didn't make anything. She was working out of her home, but she did make really good Christmas cookies. So Aunt Alice made the Christmas cookies. Aunt Ruth, we think, made the popcorn balls. And Aunt Lucille did the caramel apples. And then Maxwell,
This one's for pink.
and Margot, Tiffany says hello. Tiffany from your school said hello. Do you want to say hi to Tiffany? Say hi,
Yes.
Tiffany.
Hi, Tiffany.
Tiffany's a friend from school.
We were just talking about you because we went back to the nature center and Miss Stabnet was there and she said that she saw you. I think that's
Mom, how is Tiffany doing?
I think she's been, she's watching along. Okay, so the next banner I'm going to put up, Margot, did you make one of the crafts? Did we see a craft that she made?
no. We shook it around. We'll see how it came out. Let's see. She's currently drinking the ice water bath.
Oh, Maxwell's been eating the ice from the ice water bath, and he's also eating popcorn. We have to leave a little popcorn for the caramel part, Maxwell.
Here's our artwork. Whoop.
Oh, I love it. Now, did you put corn kernels in?
We put corn kernels in. We also put a marble. Well,
Yeah, so the marble's going to make bigger dots when we tried it with the marble. But the corn makes these nice little dots, and they're just kind of a neat.
she really has to touch the paint and like put her hands in the paint, but we're not doing that right now. So we'll stick this up.
So mine is coming to a real sort of foamy mixture. Which we think we're getting close,
Paint on our hands. Okay.
and we're just going to keep getting it up a little higher. And again, if you have a candy thermometer, you're going to be much better off here. 248 degrees, or the soft which is if you put a spoonful in ice water, it's going to make it into a ball. So I'm going to test it just to see where we are. How's everybody else who's making the caramel balls doing? Let's see if anybody else is going. So Cammie or Cora, how's yours going? So I'm going to take a little spoonful. So I don't think mine's ready there yet. So I put a spoonful in and it just kind of dissolved to the bottom. So it's not.
Yes, mine as well. So we just kind of drizzle a little bit in, and then it's been in there for a second or two. You can like pinch it with your fingers, and once it's at that stage, it will come together as opposed to like dissolving.
Right. So Max is going to taste it to make sure it tastes okay. The answer is, it is delicious. So here's the thing. If you were to pour it on right now, you're just going to get like caramel popcorn. And it's just going to be a little syrupy. It's not going to be bad. It's just going to be not coming together like that candy where it's stuck together as a ball. But it's still, trust me when I say we just tasted the cooled, and don't taste it when it's hot, but taste it when it's cooled off in the ice bath. It is delicious.
Yes,
So,
I really like the addition of the molasses.
I love the addition of the molasses. I think that's a brilliant idea. And we've made it before with corn syrup, which you can absolutely do. I just love that the honey and the molasses is just like a slightly more natural version of them.
And I think it's more flavorful. Like corn syrup, it's sweet, but it doesn't add very much in the way of flavor.
Yeah. And Maren, Cami and Cora and Matt said that they're at about 230 degrees. So you guys are getting close.
I'm going to put some more ice.
Grandma Helene said that for that craft, it's fun to add 2 or 3 colors for the painting. Yeah, this one we did, we had blue and red. This one was kind of cool because we had some of the blue and red left over that was a little dried up. So it made these like really pretty pastel colors, but kind of mix them together. This was yellow, blue,
Mom,
red,
did you like it?
and green. She loves it. Yeah, she said it was really cool.
Because Tiffany said it.
Oh, I didn't hear from Tiffany what she thought on it, but I think Grandma thought it was great.
Oh, popcorn in there, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
So, when you finish cooking your caramel,
Mom, can I taste it?
Cole, you can actually, yeah, I have some in here. You can put your finger through there and taste it.
No,
No, this. It's not right. It's not done yet. You can have a popcorn.
Okay, so mine is actually getting to that softball stage. So, or yes, I think that's what it's called. So if you drizzle some in the water and then pinch it, you'll see that it will like almost push back on your finger. It will have like a thicker texture to it than a liquid.
So I just put a little bit more in. So we're waiting a moment. Let's see. Oh, look here, Maxwell. Maxwell, Tiffany says she loves your pictures and we'll try it today. Can you send us a picture, Tiffany, when you're done? We'd love to see your final one. Cole, do you want to make one of these? No? Okay. So let's see where we're going. I'm going to pick up. Mine is still not ready. Mine's still, Maxwell's drinking it out of the ice water.
Yummy. Glad you like it.
So you're ready then, Laura, to go ahead and add it to your popcorn?
Just about. I'm going to give it like 1 more minute.
I'm going to make another jar of another little ice bath because Maxwell has decided that he's going to drink the sugar water.
Yeah, we have a like popcorn ice potion going on over here.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and make another ice bath.
So I've never made my own hard candies, but you know, from what I understand, sort of learning about the chemistry of this, if you let the sugar get even hotter past that softball stage, it then turns like the structure of the sugar changes in such a way that instead of being like a chewy caramel texture, it would turn into like a hard candy texture. So it would be brittle and crack.
So you don't want that. Yeah. Okay. So I actually, so one of the questions that Cora and Matt said is that oh yeah, mine is ready. Cora and Matt and
Mom, can I
Cami
taste
said that they,
Mom, I want to have that. I want to
Sure.
have that.
I'm gonna show you. So here's,
Mom, can I taste it?
here's my, my
Wanna
softball
taste
sauce.
it?
Hold on. I'm
Wanna
just gonna
taste
show
it?
it. So, I've got a little bit here that's kind of at that ball stage. It probably could go like another minute or two, but you're right. You don't want it to go too much because if it goes too much, it gets too hard. The question about how many cups of cooked popcorn, it's about 6 cups. About 6 cups of cooked popcorn, which I think I had at the beginning, and now I think I have less.
So you'll
I think I've got 5 cups.
caramel to popcorn ratio.
Yeah, and you want to be super careful not to touch the caramel because it's going to be really hot. I'm going to let mine go just a second more because, although I don't know, again, you don't want it to get too hard because if it dries and it's just too hard, it's going to be hard to eat.
Right, like you get like a peanut brittle, something that would like crack when you bite it, as opposed to chewy.
Right.
We're not going in there. Okay, look, Margot, you can help me. We're gonna pour this in, and then you can help me stir it in just a minute.
A little bit more in my ice bath just to kind of see.
Okay. Here we go.
And here we go. Yeah, we're at like softball. I can just about make it into a ball.
Right, it becomes like tacky. Not sure what else to compare it to. It's sort of like candle wax, if you've ever sort of played with that.
Yeah.
Enough to like bend it and mold it.
Okay. So Maxwell is just scooping spoonfuls of sugar water.
Oh boy.
All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and pour mine over the popcorn now.
Okay.
Is that, Mommy?
Yeah.
Is that sugar?
What?
Is that sugar?
No, that is salt.
Sugar.
I'm going to move my
Mommy, I want
supplies a little bit out of the way.
Mom, can I taste sugar?
And I'm going to go ahead. Let's see if I can find my popcorn here. I'm going to hide this so we can see. And I'm going to hide the banner here.
You know, Jen, I'm so glad that we're doing this. And we'll have these videos for perpetuity so that I can show Margot when she's 12 years old how she made my life difficult as a 2-year-old.
She's a perfect 2-year-old. What are you talking about? She's doing exactly what she's supposed to be doing.
When we're done.
Well, when we're done stirring it, it's still going to be very hot, but I'm going to coat all the popcorn now with the caramel.
And then we're gonna eat a little.
Oh, yes, Maxwell. Don't you worry. In about 10 minutes, it'll be ready. Now, I have some kernels, which is unfortunate. I should have gotten my kernels out first.
Can you use this to wipe up that cold? Yeah, it is cold. It's ice water.
Mommy, could I taste that?
Yeah, so it's still very hot to the touch. So you don't want to touch it quite yet. But you do want to get that caramel real mixed in together. No, that's not going to taste so good. So that's just molasses. And so are you stirring yours in too, Laura? Yours is good?
So the problem I think I have is that I had more of the syrup than I needed. And so I went and dumped it all over. If you haven't dumped it yet, drizzle it on, stir it. I have some sort of pooling in the bottom, and you really don't need that much sauce.
Got it. Okay.
Some reserve.
Once you've done that, you can use an ice cream scoop, or the other option I would say is to use
Mommy, molasses.
2 spoons. And you may want to spray them with your spray, your cooking spray. But you can take the spoons and kind of form a ball. The more we let this sit, the more they're going to form into balls also, but they're a little bit, the caramel's still really hot.
Right. As it cools, it will firm up.
Mom, could
Right.
I taste
But you
it?
can form them into balls.
Mom, could I?
Touch. I'm actually going to use, don't touch yet, Maxwell. I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to spray my hands a little bit. I'm going to use my hands to mold them. Because once it's cool enough to touch, in a second, once it's cool enough to touch, it actually is more helpful to do it with your hand.
Okay, you use this one and I'll use it.
Maxwell says it's really yummy. And you can start to you kind of have to really kind of press it together to form a ball.
Mom, it's not that hot.
We gotta let it cool down because I don't want it to burn your mouth, okay?
I'm not sure if we're going to get to the making more than one ball because Maxwell might eat them all. But you kind of want to really squeeze them here because then you're going to have this nice tight.
Mommy, I don't want to do it.
It's a little bit hot.
And then we're gonna eat them.
Girl, let's just-
Yeah, I'm going to put this in the muffin tray.
And then we can eat
To make the ball.
them. Make some and then taste a little and then put some.
How's yours doing, Laura?
So another option I think
Here's spray my hand.
mine is like
Here's spray my hand.
I can't because mine is too
added a little bit too much sauce. I think if you spread it out on a cookie sheet with like some parchment paper underneath it,
Yeah.
then let it cool. You can make it into like a brittle or a bark.
Yeah.
Chewier than a peanut brittle.
And you don't even have to make them into the balls. You can just kind of keep them as is and eat them just like that.
Right. Yeah, mine's still too hot to handle. So I'm gonna let it cool a little bit more. I also may have to do this without my assistant.
That being a necessity. So I'm just going to show you what the popcorn looks like when I put it in the tray. So I probably could have gone a little bit longer on my popcorn, on my caramel, because it's sticking together, but it's not quite holding together. It will hold together when it cools, but it's harder to form into a ball. So if I had gone just a little bit longer, I think it would work. But they are balls. They just are harder to stick together right now. But as they cool, they'll stick together more.
Yeah. Right. So as that caramel becomes more of like a tacky, like thick binder, like a glue, then you'll have better luck with the popcorn all sticking together, as opposed to when it's cooler, it's more liquid.
Yeah. And Summer asked how much sugar. It's a cup of sugar. It's 1 cup of sugar. I'll put that banner up. And Grandma Helene says that Maxwell does love molasses. He eats it at your house. I know you love making molasses cookies at Grandma's house, right? So put this back up again. Yeah, that's hot.
Hey,
So we'll have it at the bottom. So Maxwell is just shoveling it into his mouth. He's not really getting to the point where he's taking the ball. He's up.
Because it's too sticky.
Because it's too sticky. And I'm just going to do a little taste test.
Yummy.
They are yummy.
Mm.
I don't know if we need to get to make them into balls. I think we're going to eat them too fast.
Right.
I'm sorry. But holy cow, that's good caramel popcorn.
We're like kind of out of snacks around here. We still have dinner food and things like that, but we plowed through all our snacks. So I've been looking for like other snacks that we can make. So this would be a fun one.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Okay.
All right. Well, everybody, I think we are come to the end of our cooking time together, and we will see you tomorrow. We're excited for tomorrow because tomorrow is actually the first at sundown. It's the first night of Passover, and we're gonna do some matzah, homemade matzah. We don't have any matzah to hide. Usually, you hide some matzah as part of your seder. And that's like a fun thing you do with the kids, and then you find it and get some treats when you find it. Maybe some money. And so we're going to make matzah tomorrow in our class, and I'll walk through the same.
All right.
So I think we are good. Marin, Cora and Cammie and Matt said that it's really yummy. I'm so glad. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. This beautiful weather. If anybody's up here in the Northeast. Bye, Margo. I hope you like your popcorn.
Thank you.
Bye. Wait, hold on.
Maxwell wants me to write, "It will be yummy." So I'm going to just put up that one. It's so yummy. All right. I think we lost Laura. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.